lowlands of beach property will not exist by Christmas of the year to come. The islands, sitting surrounded by water, are going to sink and its inhabitants drown. And that includes all of the islands of the South Pacific. All of the landmass of India, into the land masses of Indochina, to the land masses that buttress up against the great continent of Australia, that had already undergone through weather modifications its changes. As a whole continued continent, and the lovely and civilized people who live there did not even allow American nuclear subs to enter their waters. This is a conscious country, unintimidated and left alone, becomes a land of refuge. It will have waves that will hit it, but will be diminished by all of the other land masses that stand in the way of it. Everyone in Australia in 3 days should begin their pilgrimage, a true spiritual pilgrimage, from any coastland to its highlands, and therein make provisions to last you and your family, and with all the friends know you of like in mind, come together and forge a unit. And your absence from the social scene will unnerve everyone, but by your acts you teach and lead by what you do to people who need to know. Go to the interior, but to the green highlands, and get away from the coastline. Bargain? Turn to your neighbor and tell him what I said to you. And all of you who live, of my students, in any of these island countries, leave it now. Prepare to evacuate and to disappear. You may begin. Deal with it. I'm giving you a solution. Denial never saved your life from anything. That wave is coming to Canada, to Washington State, to Oregon, to California, to Baja, to Mexico, and all down the South American coast. 1,000-foot tsunami. Check the elevations to which you or your family live in. Are there mountains nearby? And if they are, seek those mountains, its highest place. And if you are in the Western Hemisphere, then you should not face the ocean and the mountains. You should be facing east and take all your provisions, all of them. If all you have is a caravan, load that caravan and everything else you have, and you go to the hills. And everyone will say, this is too much. He is fomenting fear in the marketplace. You have not lived through the nuclear disaster of Japan. It's about to happen to you. And this is the sliding of an island nation into an ocean that, likened unto a tub of water, gets displaced. How high is the greatest mountain in Hawaii? However high it is, it must be higher than 1,000 feet wall of water. In Washington State, we have a peculiarity. For we have a slit of the state, and it is as if the old God is sitting out there on the ocean in the noble mountain range called the Olympics. The Olympians, the Olympiads. And their elevation is 8,000 to 9,000 feet. And they are right on the coastline. Well, they can take anything coming. And the Straits of Juan de Fuca are a very narrow outlet that will be drowned. Needless to say, all coastal towns, villages, and hovels who love to wake up and see the ocean every day will never see it ever again. And the Straits of Juan de Fuca will nearly be washed away, as will Orcas Island and all other islands within the symmetry of this wave. But it will not make it beyond that mountain range. Instead, as water seeks its own level, it will come to the south of here, up through its rivers, its estuaries. And it will gather in the sound as a flood of rising water. This is the first demon that comes. I told my channel when she was set and displaced from her familiarity that one day she would look out over this wall and see the ocean. And that day has arrived. This wave of water is a consciousness of life as well as destruction. Any of you who live on rivers, and I have told you not to, this water is going to come up through the opening of your estuary of your river, and it is going to travel up to the mountain. And you are going to be indulged in water. Sometimes the advice of good friends is not such wise advice. If your property banks a river, then your property is below sea level. Turn your neighbor and tell him what I just said. You may begin. Washington State will travel over their banks 250 feet. Ask yourself how you're doing. Continue. So this is, continue, the first wave will raise the estuaries and the rivers and flood the land up to 200 feet. If you are